so Hank, you're mad at Hank because Hank liked a tweet from Lewis.
Oh no.
Why would you like a tweet from Lewis?
Because Lewis is my friend.
He's a scumbag.
I don't like that word for Lewis.
I don't want to talk about it, but I mean he is, and everyone knows
I don't like that word for Lewis.
Well, what is he then?
I like Lewis. Lewis is a good guy. I think Lewis, he got over his skis a little bit. He made a mistake, and he paid for it.
But how can you like something that has nothing to do with an incubator company that he solicited investment, used all our resources, and didn't tell anybody about?
Well, I mean, Hank actually liked the tweet just to get you going.
Is that why you did it?
Yeah.
Yes,
yes, that's exactly why he did it.
He's just inspiring,
He is. He's starting Michael Scott's
business guy. I was friends with Lewis a long time. I don't want to bash him, but his little spiel on how he's such a entrepreneur and quit and had to follow, he got fucking kicked the fuck out. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I see, Lewis.
I just sounded like Forrest Gump, by the way.
Yeah,
That's all
you did.
I'm gonna say about that.
You did. That's
I
all
don't want to go down that road, but he did it.
Which tweet was it? I liked a couple of Lewis.
Yeah,
tweets.
bullshit.
Lewis is Lewis. If everyone doesn't know, he was our sales guy forever. He's a friend of us, of a lot of ours.
He was
still
not my name.
He's still my friend. Got canned.
He was trying to take food off your table.
I know. But that's also like, to me, Lewis is kind of like.
You didn't know it was coming with Lewis, though.
Yeah, but Lewis is like, Lewis is like J.R. Smith. Like when you get mad at J.R. Smith for doing something crazy, it's like, well, that's J.R. Smith. Like you live by J.R. Smith getting hot, and you die by him, jacking up 10 shots and missing all.
But at least J.R. Smith, after his initial just lies, was like, yeah, I didn't know how much time was on the clock. So. That we're gonna need.
But I think that's gonna happen with Lewis eventually.
And then that'll probably be a lot.
Right.
But this endless social campaign of himself touting himself as the next coming of Jesus Christ is tough to look at right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I talked to Lewis a couple times this week. I think he's also dealing with like trying to. I mean, Barstool was his life for 6 years, so he's trying to figure out how to get away from that and.
How about not?
But
don't mention it.
No, I know, but I think part of it is like pumping yourself up and being like, all right, I can do this. Like almost like a Stuart Smalley, being like people like me.
This is no indication. He's a smart, crazy smart guy, so he maybe can, but just don't tell lies directly related to us, and then we're good.
Yeah, I think Lewis is still going to come back to Barstool at some point.
Well, not if he makes $100 bazillion.
I think it's going to be a story that's going to be.
Maybe he'll buy Barstool one day.
He's the only walked in and bought Barstool because his company went like bazinga.
He's the only guy.
That'd be awesome. Dave's ass would be in the jackpot.
I'd be in the jackpot
big time.
He's the only guy. I knew him. I liked him enough who could do this shady of stuff. And me be like, maybe down the road, but there's got to be a cooling period. He's got
because he's a friend.
But he certainly didn't act like one. I just need a long period of cooling, and I need him to shut the fuck up.
Right,
patting himself on the back.
Still fresh with all of it. What if I brought him back for the Pick'em podcast and just hired him as like a mercenary for that?
No, because we don't want to build up his social media so he can just pat himself on the back and talk about how he's doing business with Pirate Simon and Devness Nate and all of the rejects.
I do think that you have shown a lot of restraint with the way the thing has gone, because
I have tried the hardest I could ever try.
If I could put my prediction on the board, knowing Lewis, how I know Lewis, and when he gets a little drunk, he likes to start firing off shots. I have a feeling that's going to happen this summer. Like a couple late nights, he's going to start like...
No, he's going to be like...
I hope he doesn't.
No, I hope he doesn't too. Because I still consider Lewis a friend, so having that happen would suck.
I hope he doesn't. I hope just do your business and make $1 billion on your own.
When it was all going down, it was actually funny. I was like, I think I said to Hank, I was like, I just hope that Dave and Lewis don't start just going crazy on Twitter. And then I realized that like those are the two people who are most likely to go crazy on Twitter are Dave and Lewis, like the most combustible situation.
I am doing my best not to. I just won't shut up.
He won't? He won't.
Shut up.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like Barstool was his life. His life has been this company for 6 years. So when he gets, when this all happens, and not saying like, he fucked up and he should have, been fired, and that's the truth. But when it happens and he has to walk away from it, and he loses his identity. He now has to try to reform his identity by like pumping himself up, and that's how Lewis does it. And like I understand what he's doing. I just think that's just Lewis is being Lewis right now.
Yeah, but I think he can do it without just directly saying things that are total lies.
The 3 most addicting things in the world are like heroin, carbohydrates, and a salary. How could I not like that? I was laughing out loud.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good line. You gotta admit that. That's a pretty good line. If he moved back to the Milton office,
his septo lines, like I'm so poor, I gotta take a bite.
If he went back and took the Milton office over and hired Pirate Simon, what would you do?
Yikes! I don't know what I'd do. I hope I mean, at the height of my rage, I was like very close to just launching the exact company he launched,
which still is probably not out of the question.
Could I
good chance? It feels like that.
When all this went down, it
ruined your Belmont.
Cathartic to talk. It did ruin my Belmont, but some kid came up for a picture in the middle of it, and he's like, "My dad owns a rosé company." He's like, "You guys want to work together?" This kid, I stopped. I said, "I will give you $100 million of free advertising. Just tell me what the product is."
Oh my God!
It's cathartic.
Yeah,
I won't say it
it was brewing
because he wouldn't shut up.
Feel it. I know you could feel it. The algorithms on Twitter. It's actually Jack's fault on Twitter because the algorithms.
I took the high road. I stopped following him. Like, why do I keep seeing? I didn't want to see it. Like, let him do his stuff, but then to keep hammering like DevNest Nate and then Hank set me up because I came across with Hank.
But it was actually correct because I said this before we went on air today. I was like, I'd rather you talk about it now than wait for Lewis to really piss you off, which still could very much happen. He could very much do that. I think Hank's prediction's not that off. That there's going to be like a Newport night that ends up in some tweets about how he's going to make it. And then
I hope he does make it.
I want him to
crazy.
Make it.
That's how.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna be Davey High Road as much as I can be.
I'll finish it with saying that I think someday the story of Lewis and Barstool is not
Barstool book
is not ending. Like I don't know.
I am on the highest.
He's so much. I told you this when it all went down. I was like, Lewis is just as much Barstool as your Barstool, as I'm Barstool, as Kevin. Like all these guys have been around forever. So I feel like he will be back at some point. Maybe hat in hand.
I'm really not a high road guy. This is the highest high road I think I've ever
it's
taken.
A testament to how much you like Lewis.
A lot of restraint coming out of you.
And I'm like,
credit to you.
How much I liked him. And Lewis is a crazy person, and he's been crazy since he came in. But the more the onion got peeled every day, it's like holy shit.
What you will not like if Lewis texts you in like 2 months and he's like, hey, you want to go out for a beer?
Definitely not. I mean, I haven't responded to anything. He texted me yesterday.
He texted you?
He texted me yesterday.
What if you like bumped into him at the same?
Nothing. Nothing. Right now, the anger is too strong.
And it's a weird situation because it's not like you have a right to be angry. The people who have been friends with Lewis for a long time,
including myself, I was friends.
Right. Yeah, but like I'm still consider him a good friend. Obviously, things didn't go so well at the end there, but that's Lewis. Now Lewis is he is a phoenix, and he's going to fly as close to the sun as possible at all times.
What did I say about him? What was it when we did the chart of what everybody would be doing at Barstool?
Yeah, you did it when we went to the Kanye West concert. Like the first weekend we moved to New York, Club Cool, which is actually ironic. Club Cool is maybe the biggest, the funniest thing looking back, because I think that was the last time I went out in New York City.
It's also the first time any of us hung out together.
Ever together. And then Dave created his own Club Cool with Lewis and Gaz that he went club hopping with for 4 months. But anyway, the Club Cool picture, and it was like, what would these guys be doing without me? It was like me, real estate, Hank, ticket, ticket ripper at the Science Museum, KFC accountant, Lewis Conman. That was your tweet.
Yeah, you nailed it. Out there. What would you say if Lewis was like, "Hey, can I have my job back? I'll fight in Rough and Rowdy against Gaz"?
He wouldn't fight. Lewis isn't a fighter.
No, and it's like I feel like he'd somehow have like Ocean's 11 situation where the pay-per-view would somehow be funneling to him.
Yes, right. And all vendors would be selling
literally everything now. Everything he is, I view right now as I'm getting scammed. Like, what's the angle? How am I getting scammed?
All the power cuts out at the Barstool office. He's got a team like stealing all the merch out of the merch room.
Which, by the way, I've always thought about Lewis to a degree. Not to a degree, but I just didn't think he was turning it like on us, like, or me, however you want to look at it. It's really us. But I was like, he's going versus everybody else, which is fine as a sales guy. But he spiraled.
All right, well, we got it out. That's dead and buried now. I still am friends with Lewis, but Dave has every right for everything.
Tiger just doubled again.
Oh! All right, Barstool Radio will be back right after that. That's fuck. Talking